The crypto market's fate is tied to the stock market. And what happened to the stock market in the past trading session? You can see the big growth names, Microsoft, Apple, Meta, and Amazon, all got hard hit. This sell-off has led to over $100 billion in market capitalization being wiped off the stock market. Markets are always correlating and decorrelating. What we generally see is when the dollar sells off, yields come down and risk interest in the markets increases, and this pushes fear down and pushes indices up. Most of those things happen, but what we saw is the tech sell-off actually brought the indexes down. It's absolutely vital that you understand what this actually means to your trading and investing. Stay tuned. It's going to be really interesting. Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, a very warm welcome and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently up 3.35% to 2811. Ethereum is up 5.84% to 1569. If you were just looking at the crypto market, you probably say, oh, it's pretty green today, I'm getting in. What we do, however, as crypto technical analysts, we understand, first of all, that we have to mark up our charts with the CTKS method. That reveals smart money buy and sell levels. Then we need to contextualize how all the financial markets are moving. Ignorance is not bliss, it's financial suicide. Let's see what the news headlines are telling us. From CNBC, Alphabet just had its worst day since March 2020 when COVID shutdown started in the US. Microsoft dropped 6% after revealing weak guidance on its earnings call. Apple's earnings are out on Thursday, but it saw a big drop too. Meta's numbers are out on Wednesday. It also saw a sell-off. In other news, the EU proposes banks to offer mandatory instant payment in euros. This will hit the DXY. US mortgage interest rates jumped to 7.16%, the highest rate since 2001. We often look through the different yields. The yield on the 10-year note acts as the benchmark for mortgage rates. The BOC, the Bank of Canada, slows the pace of rate hikes because recession fears are mounting. You can see from this chart that Canada has been very aggressive in raising its rates. The Bank of Canada does expect future rates to rise, but it's looking to move to more normal size 25 basis point increases. Jerome Powell, on the eve of the next rate hike, has been urged to protect jobs. Urged by the US Senate Banking Committee Chair, hard drive maker Seagate Technology said Wednesday it plans to cut 3,000 employees. In the heat map of the stock market, we see the semiconductor industry also sold off, and chip makers are ruling out a quick turnaround. We're starting to see more recession risk on the horizon. The Fed's yield curve barometer starts flashing recession risk. And things are potentially getting worse. Meta Platforms' revenue decline is expected to accelerate. And we can also see for a few quarters now, the Microsoft revenue per fiscal quarter change from the previous year has been decreasing. People are starting to get really worried that a recession is ahead. It's so important if you're in the crypto market to look outside the crypto market into the stock market and to understand how things relate geopolitically as well. One thing to understand, when we look at the Stanfield levels on Apple, Apple has been rejected from the 152.56 mark. It's also lost the 149.87 mark. There's a lot of free air here, or fresh air. Apple could find its way falling back to the 143 mark. When you see big gaps, that means the price can actually fall rather rapidly. So we must be aware of these factors. And when we look at the Nasdaq Composite Index, we can see that the Nasdaq has fallen through all of these levels of support. There's a lot of fresh air here to fall down to the 10,729 mark. If this happens, we would expect the crypto market to reverse course as well. This is why when financial markets go out of sync, you must pay attention. Basically, the drop in the US dollar currency index should have seen stocks just spark up because we saw fear come down, but also prices come down in the major indices, and we can see they're under pressure at the moment. Having traded in financial markets for more than 3 decades, when we get signals like this, we must pay attention. Unfortunately, there is also the threat of war. Putin says risk of world conflict is high. Moscow official calls for de-Satanization in Ukraine. Complicating matters, the Secretary of State comments that China wants to speed up its seizure of Taiwan. And the President of China, Xi, vows of world dominance by 2049, and that's sending chills through the markets. Whilst back in Russia, Putin oversees regular nuclear drills amid escalation fears. And the White House warns of severe consequences if Putin uses nuclear weapons. The Russia-Ukraine crisis has dragged on, causing an energy crisis throughout Europe and so much loss. Not only that, North Korea wants to hold nuclear tests. And the US, Japan, and South Korea warn of unparalleled response if North Korea does so. So you can see there's a lot of global instability at the current time. And this instability is global. The world is definitely a scary place, but Rule 252 is prepared and not scared. We just get prepared mentally and financially. To be prepared, you must have a strategy. In episode 685, I spent literally the entire episode talking about the BORSOG code. BORSOG code is all about your 3-dimensional risk management. BORSOG is buy on red, sell on green, and this is what professionals do to get on the right side of the percentage. But buying on red is a very specialized thing to do. You must take note of what is happening inside the markets. Doing your BORSOG code every day shows the market that you're taking it seriously. You're considering the down option first. When price goes against you, the neutral option second. So things just go nowhere. They go flatline. And then finally, the for you, the up, last. And this is really important to do. You control the trade or investment, but the market controls the return. And the markets always reward active learning, your knowledge plus your courage. And they penalize, blame, fear, and gambling. The next FOMC meeting is in 7 days, and there's currently a 92% probability that there will be a 75 basis point increase. We are still at a time where we need to be careful. We've got some positive momentum happening now, but we've still got resistance above. If we can keep on forging up and through and break this overhead resistance line coming down through here, that would be fantastic and signify a turnaround. And you may say, Ken, all of that information you just showed me, how can we have a turnaround? It is possible. Always keep your 3-dimensional thinking going at all times. One thing to note, when you see the largest companies in the entire world selling down by such huge percentages, you must take note. One thing particularly of note when we look at global markets is the continued weakness of the Chinese market. We've seen the rally in the US markets lift the majority of global indices, but we know Taiwan is very, very weak and China is very weak too. The reason the Fed needs to do a 75 basis point increase is because inflation is still rolling up the wall. And even though we've seen a reduction in the federal funds rate prediction for April of 2023 down to 4.83%, and all of the yields have come down as well, the main markets are starting to retrace, and we know Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity. And we also know no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity either. All of these markets are intercorrelated. Looking at crypto market cap, which is currently $957.18 billion, we can see over the past 24 hours the crypto market cap has actually increased nearly $29.5 billion. This would lead to some people saying that crypto has decorrelated from the stock market. Don't believe it. It's just gravity. It just takes a little bit of time to play out. And the key to understand is the main markets don't trade 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. How slack are they? And you can see, for example, on Bitcoin, and this white line is the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is not always operational, but it gives you a very good prediction on where the crypto market will go, not necessarily in real time. There's always lags. At the time of recording, the NASDAQ has just stopped, and we can see Bitcoin flirting with a very strong resistance level now of 20,777 and a strong support underneath at 2588. The key thing for you to think about, and to think about really seriously, if Bitcoin was to pull itself down, for example, to this 19,423 level, pretty much wiping out all this gain that it had put in, what would you do? This is why I try to help you with your three-dimensional risk management strategy each and every day. You must know what you're going to do with your particular trades and your total portfolio if things go against you. One thing to keep in mind is Rule 114 from the Masterclass. Markets penalize certainty. That's why I focus on helping you to think in 3 dimensions. And when we look at max pain for Friday the 28th of October, we've got $1.4 billion worth of Bitcoin options expiring, and the max pain level is 19,500. Does this mean the price has rallied up only to come back to this max pain level? If that actually does occur, this is just an overcoming of this once resistance line and potentially reconfirming it as support. We've also got a lower support level, and that will come in around the 19,376 mark. So if price does come down and wicks down to there, and price closes over around the 19,800 mark, things are looking quite good for crypto. We can get a lot of bad news, but that bad news doesn't mean that we should be scared. It just means that we should be prepared. And how are the longs and the shorts dealing with this current market condition? We can see the shorts are piling out of Bitcoin, and also the longs are also piling out. But what do we see in price behavior? We see the prices increasing. This would indicate that the shorts are getting very, very hard hit and they're getting squeezed. Let's have a look at 24-hour liquidations, if that is actually playing out. And we can see 748.44 million in total liquidations across 103,336 positions. And if we look at the past 24 hours, around 82% of positions were short positions. The past 12 hours, about 81% short. The past 4 hours, about 60% short. And the past hour, about 56% short. Definitely the shorts have been on the wrong side of the trade. And when we look at the total liquidations, the shorts have been disproportionately liquidated compared to the longs. But the longs are always getting liquidated as well. This is why a working knowledge, a working practical knowledge, which means you're doing small trades inside the market, not paper trading, because paper trading doesn't help you to deal with emotions. What you need to deal with is the actual threat of loss, and you can do just coffee money. That is sufficient. It's so important to mark up your charts with the CTKS method. Look beyond the charts of the crypto market, to understand how crypto can be hit. Before you buy and sell, you must have positive excellence. Mastering emotional control is a route to profitability, and a route to losses is just letting fear govern every single trade. So many people stay on the sidelines because they're fearful. When fear has a reign on your emotional state, it will control your actions. Positive excellence is all about getting rid of fear and putting in intelligent courage. I recently saw a YouTube influencer showing an example of a trade, and that particular trade was a $1 million trade under leverage. That's really destructive to the followers of that influencer. What you really need to do is not go and crazy leverage. You want to keep away from that until you understand how the system works. What you really need to master at the start is overcoming fear. You basically want to get out of the panic and the blame zone, zone 1 and zone 2, into the patience and rule zone, where learning and courage dominate. And of course, zone 4, mastering fear and replacing fear with courage. Starting small and scaling just with coffee money will give you the emotional hit that big positions will give you. Trading and investing is a really serious undertaking, and you're going up against the best in the world, so you better be good. And how do you get good? You actually mark up your charts with the CTKS method to reveal smart money buy and sell levels. Those levels will be the places where smart money is seeking to get in or get out of a position. And being professional in investing and trading, especially trading, comes with experience. So the more trades that you can do, the more experience that you will garner. The reason we say start small and scale with BORSOG, because when you buy on red, you're actually in a loss position, but you're buying something that makes sense to buy. Crypto is unlike the stock market and unlike Forex. That's why all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell. And the more times you buy and sell, the more experience you will actually gather. And it's the emotional resilience that you need most of all. The true purpose of trading is to synchronize in with the market. That's why I created BORSOG trading. When you're synchronized in, you can scale. If you find that you're desynchronized or things aren't going your way, just descale. One thing that you might like to think about, there's a huge difference between theory and practice. And a lot of people talk about this, but let me just give you a quick illustration. Say you're in the army and you're at the firing range, and every time you pull the trigger, you get the bullseye. When you're actually in a war, it's completely different. You may be fine, or you may not want to pull that trigger at all. In real combat, the risks are real. In a training range, you're completely safe. It's completely different in terms of environment. Many people say that they can't get on the live fire range, moving from the training range. And that's quite understandable because it's real money on the line. That's why BORSOG trading is really, really good. It teaches your mind to desensitize fear. It also shows you how to deal with the fact that sometimes you don't pull the trigger and you miss out, or you pull the trigger far too early. There's no problem in doing either thing. You either win or you learn. And we never blame. Let's have a quick look through the top crypto headlines. UK lawmakers vote to recognise crypto as financial instruments. And the new Prime Minister of England, who is regarded by many as a champion of fintech, a champion of crypto, says that this is part of our plan to ensure the UK financial services industry is always at the forefront of technology and innovation. Crypto is becoming more and more mainstream. Crypto seeing broad bipartisan support in upcoming US midterm elections. And remember, that's on November 8th. JP Morgan may hate Bitcoin, but millions in crypto and Web3 investments. Think differently. This particular article says that JP Morgan has invested hundreds of millions in crypto each year, possibly even billions, whilst actively criticizing crypto. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, is one of the biggest critics of Bitcoin, and of course other cryptos in the finance industry. Singapore plans for new crypto investment rules following recent collapses. And PayPal is believed to be working on several crypto initiatives. Meta launches Web3 Accelerator in partnership with L'Oreal. 5 companies will participate in the program in 2023. The partnership comes as many fashion houses are creating digital clothing for metaverse avatars. And a report commissioned by French authorities offers ways that the metaverse could be effectively integrated into society. Vietnam's Prime Minister calls for crypto regulation. Binance Oracle Network to bridge Web3 and blockchains via smart contracts. Norwegian government agency opens metaverse office in collaboration with Ernst & Young in the Decentraland metaverse to reach its next generation of users. Swiss Cyberbank launches NFT custody despite market decline. And Dogecoin sprints north as Elon Musk, pledges to close Twitter acquisition deal by Friday. BitPay to introduce USDC and ETH payments on the Polygon network. That's for later this week. Mysterious whales moving millions in Ethereum as Ether hits highest price point since the merge. Unlike the stock market, the crypto market has a lot of good news, so let's check out the top 8 cryptos, and we always want to compare it to Bitcoin's gravity. We can see Ethereum just going for it at the moment, BNB even more so, beating Bitcoin's gravity. ADA is under a bit of negative pressure, a little bit of negative momentum. It's just consolidating at the moment. It's really interesting that XRP has not risen. Is this because, for example, XRP just rallied very, very strongly but didn't retrace like the other cryptos did? It's just consolidating its gains. And let me know in the comments, what do you feel? And let's have a look at Solana. Solana is below Bitcoin's gravity. Doge is completely going for it, pretty much on the back of Elon. Potentially Elon said that he would make Doge a payment mechanism for Twitter, so that could be quite interesting. This is probably the underpinning reason for Doge going parabolic at the moment. But don't forget about sharp angles doing something or other. Please let me know what that is in the comments. And DOT is just a little bit weaker. It's turning down with major market sentiment. And Matic is retracing, but it's very, very strong. And there was some very good news on Matic as well. By going through the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass steps, you know so much about the market. This is like the training range. But you have to put that into action. If you were in ADA and you were fortunate enough to be part of this large rise, what would happen if the markets came back to this support level? And that's what the main markets are potentially hinting at. And if they do, if, for example, Bitcoin retraces, because we know all price moves in a wave, it's always going up and down. It doesn't go up forever. It doesn't go down forever. What would happen if you witness, for example, ADA dropping back to this lower base? You went up 26% and then came down 13.5%. What would you actually do? These are really important questions to ask yourself, especially when you're on the live fire range. So if that were to actually occur, you would potentially go up by about 9%. As opposed to going up 26%. A lot of people can't handle these massive drawdowns in price, and one of the things that we try to do with trading is to take out the sweet spot of the trade. You don't need to buy the bottom and you don't need to sell the top. You just need to participate in the sweet spot. With the tech sector getting squished in the main markets, you must be aware that that can throw negative price momentum over the next couple of sessions. So it's incredibly important to get ready and to prepare for any price movements. And the absolute best way to get ready is to do your daily three-dimensional risk management, your BORSOG code. And I talk a lot about that in episode 685. It will really help you out. If you learned something new today, please pop that in the comments. One thing we do each and every day is to go through the CTKS Creed. This is a series of positive affirmations, statements that we say to ourselves to prime our mind for profitability in not only the crypto market, but in life. I know the universe wants me to succeed. Every day I show kindness, integrity, and gratitude. I know opportunities and life reset daily. I am worthy. I go slow to go fast. I start small and scale with BORSOG. Life pullbacks give me the strength for the next life rally. I am dedicated and committed. I win or learn and never blame. These statements, when lived, can be an absolute game changer. And if you have family or friends who could benefit from positive excellence and what we do here each and every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please introduce them to our community by sharing a video. We'd love to see them here. We have one of the best communities on YouTube. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.